Hi, welcome. Thank you for joining me. I'm Diederik Gelderman. Thank you very much for coming to this online training video today. Today's video is the third of the 5-part series on increasing your recalls, your revisits and your reminders. Before I go on the back of last week's or 2 weeks ago's online training, people asked me about Tenzin, who you can see in the background. Tenzin's a standard bred, a trotter that was owned by one of my clients. He was Aurora. I operated on him and fixed that. Then he had Spavin, which we operated on and fixed that as well. He managed to win one race as a 7-year-old, and then he was retired. And I told the clients that if they wanted a home for him, that he could come with us. His racing name was the Tibetan. My partner follows a Buddhist philosophy, and because Tibetan and Buddhism goes hand in hand, hence he's retired on our property. A chestnut 16 two-hand standard bred. So let's move on. Today's online training video specifically details the SMS, the email, the letter and the phone call scripting that you need in order to maximize your recalls and reminders. It dovetails in with the last video that you saw. So if you haven't yet watched that how-to online training video, can I suggest you do that first before you go on to this one. Once again, I'm Diederik Gelderman. I am a veterinarian. I graduated in 1977 and I had my own practice till 2009 when I sold it to go into full-time practice consulting, coaching all over the world. I'm the author of 4 published books, and I've recently contributed 4 chapters to the 2013 5-minute veterinary practice management consult by Blackwell. I speak at events and trainings and seminars all over the world. 2 of my websites are Turbocharge Your Practice and Veterinary Classroom. So if you recall, in the last of this series, we shared the 5-step reminder and recall system and how it works. Today what we're going to talk about is the fine detail elements and the exact wording. So when you specifically implement what we're going to share about today and dovetail them in with last week's training, you're going to achieve a massive compliance for all your recalls and reminders, whether that be heartworm, senior screening, vaccination, annual health checks, worming and the like. If I was in your shoes, I'd be targeting a 70 to 75% recall rate. Anything less, to me, would be unacceptable. And think of this. Think of all the extra pets that are going to receive all that required care and the ensuing benefits to them, to their longevity, to their health, etc., etc., for both the pet and the owner. Look, obviously it's going to make your practice doors swing more frequently, and so there's some benefits to you as well. Now, I can confidentially give you those numbers and those stats because we had those results in my own practice, and as well as that, the clients, my inner circle one-on-one clients that I work with, achieve those numbers themselves. So let's get started. I'll just mention again my wake-up call, which came back in 1997 when we looked at these numbers for the first time in our practice, and we were embarrassed about how low our recall and reminder rates are. Typically in most practices through the world, they're 40 to 50% at best. We were shocked, and we were in that group as well. We were shocked about how many clients and patients we had in fact let down by not ensuring that they had the opportunity to come back for that required care. So we felt, embarrassed and negligent, in fact, by default. So we started on a program to make sure that we improve that situation. And I've been working on it ever since. Modern technology, and specifically I mean SMSs or texting, whatever you like to call it, emails and obviously the software that can use those, really has allowed us to ramp up those recalls and reminders at absolutely no cost to the practice. So with the modern software, you can automate and simplify this process hugely and decrease your costs at the same time. Gives you a much better result for everyone concerned. Look, if your software is not up to speed with this, then tweak your strategies so that they fit in with what your software can do, or I'd actually look at the opportunity cost of not getting this to happen the way that we've talked about, of not achieving reminder rates of 70 to 75%. And maybe you want to think about upgrading your software when you look at those numbers and you look at the extra income that comes on. I just want to be 100% clear on one specific thing. Today we're going to be talking about conventional reminders, SMS, emails, etc., etc. In many practices that I work with now, we've ditched those conventional reminders altogether. They're gone, they're out the window. And the reason is that we're pre-booking these 12-month ahead reminders for vaccination, annual health checks or whatever. We're pre-booking them 12 months in advance. Now that is going to be the subject of another online training. So that's the next one in this series. So if that's something that interests you, keep your eye open for that. Doing that, we're actually getting our recall reminder rates up to 85%. And again, our costs are decreasing. So now let's talk about the specific scripting for your 5-step reminder and recall system. Key point, I'm going to use annual health checks as the basis for this. Obviously you tweak it for whatever reminder you're sending out. So let's start with the SMS. They should be batched to go out, in my opinion, every Monday. Okay, so they're sent out at the beginning of every week. The message needs to be very simple, very precise and very blunt, and it needs to say, your pet is due for this vaccination now, or this week, or today, or whatever it happens to be. It's essential to personalise it as much as possible. If your system can add in, the pet's name or the owner's name, great. If you can't, then you're going to have to be, generic. Say something like hi or hello, first name, depending on what you have on your records, and say, look, this is a quick heads up reminder to let you know that Fluffy is due for a very important annual health check, etc., etc. Worming, senior reminder, whatever it happens to be, it is due now. It is due this week, and please ring this number now, and put your practice phone number in that, or the number that you want them to ring. So it's critical to say, ring this number now to make that appointment. If that SMS can come from the doctor who handles that patient or looks after that patient, perfect. If not, then you've got to be generic. So step 2 is the email. Again, short and personalised. So this will go out a week after the SMS, and it needs to say, hi, hello, etc., personalised. Just sending you a quick follow-up because we haven't heard back from you in response to the SMS that we sent you a week ago, regarding Fluffy's annual health check or whatever, which is now overdue. Capitalise the words overdue. Now, I'm concerned that something may have slipped through the cracks. Can you please ring this number now? And again, put the number in there. Now, all the best or whatever, some sort of, sign off. And again, if it can come from the doctor, so much the better. Then we get to step 3. So this is the letter. Let me be really, really blunt here. It needs to look like a letter written from me to you, one-on-one, nice personalised letter. So the salutation's got to be, personalised, dear Peter, dear John, dear Mrs. Smith, whatever. If possible, have an image of the pet in the top right-hand side of the letter, of that pet. And if you can't do that, then get a generic one off iStock or Shutterstock or something on those lines. The letterhead needs to be nice, it needs to be professional, it needs to be modern, it needs to be fresh. You need to use 12 to 13 point serif typeface, okay? Critical. Serif 12 to 13 point. The letter must be signed from somebody. It's got to be signed by somebody. If there's too many to personally sign it, then if your system can do good quality scanning and scan the image on, great, do that. Everything's got to be correct. It's got to look good. Otherwise, it's going to go in the bin. So there are a few key points, and we'll do another how-to on specifically how to write letters and get them open and get them read and get them actioned. That's a whole science all to itself, so we'll talk about that some other time. Now, if you're on the UVP program, the Ultimate Veterinary Practice program, then you already know the power of great lettuce because you've got them in your resources kit. And if you're not on the UVP program, contact me and I'll tell you about it. There's a massive resources manual of templated letters in that program. Now, please understand that a well-crafted, well-set-out letter will increase your recall rates from 40% to, say, 60%, just the way the letter is set out, just the fact that it looks nice, that it's signed, etc., etc. So this is a skill that either you or someone in the practice needs to learn, or get some great templates to copy from, or to plagiarise, to ethically steal, if you like, and that's what the UVP program is for. Now, I'll go through the scripting for the letter in detail with you now. So I would be saying, if I was you, I'd be saying, we've checked your records and it's time to give pet name a gift of something special. New paragraph. Protection against some very nasty diseases, in brackets. Hello, name of pet is due for vaccination on such and such a date. And as you know, having the name of, having name of pet vaccinated is one of the greatest gifts that you can give, ... The gift of ensuring that name of pet has ongoing protection from a series of very nasty, potentially fatal diseases, ... Paragraph. Distemper, hepatitis, parvovirus, kennel cough, tetanus, whatever it is that you vaccinate for. New paragraph. Timely vaccination is that important. New paragraph. And while you're here, we'll also carry out a thorough 31-point physical examination on pet name, just as a reassurance against any pre-existing or developing conditions. And of course, we'll have time to discuss any other healthcare matters or concerns that are of concern to you, such as heartworm prevention, flea control, tick and flea prevention, skin care, dental health, whatever it is that you do during consultation. Paragraph. Vaccination dates may seem to come around very quickly, but bear in mind that animals aged 7 years, and bold and underlined and capitalise the word 7 years for each human year, which makes these regular health checks all the more essential. Paragraph. So there's just one thing for you to do right now, and the word one needs to be capitalised. Paragraph. Phone us now, and the word now needs to be capitalised, bolded and underlined, on, and then insert your phone number. Even if it's at the top of the page or the bottom of the page, still insert your phone number. So phone us now on, number to make that appointment for Fluffy. Kind regards, and then it's signed, from the vet. And the PS is critical, okay? PS, this vaccination is so important for Fluffy's ongoing health and welfare that if I notice you haven't been in by, the end of the month, then I'll get Janine, my lead receptionist, to give you a call to set up that appointment. So this letter goes out 2 weeks, as I said in the previous video, 2 weeks after the email goes out, which is 3 weeks after the SMS. A month, between 2 and 4 weeks after the letter's gone out, it's up to you. I typically use 4 weeks. We go to the last step in the process, which is the phone call. So it's going to go something on like this. Hi, it's Emma here from ABC Veterinary Hospital. How are you today, etc., etc. Build a bit of rapport. Have you just got a quick 15 seconds? And hopefully they say yes. Dr. XYZ has asked me to call because he's noticed that Fluffy's annual health check vaccination, etc., has lapsed, and he's concerned. He's worried that something has slipped through the cracks, and so he's asked me to quickly ring you to make that appointment. He can fit you in on Thursday at 2 or Friday at 4. Which one works best for you? Now, one extra tip to get this to work super well. If the doctor, during the consultation 12 months before, says, hey, this is how we do our vaccination recalls, and if I notice that you haven't been in by end of the month or whatever, I'm going to get Emma at reception. I'm going to get concerned, and we keep an eye on all our pets personally, etc., etc. Build some rapport and give a reason why. And I'm going to get Emma at reception to give you a ring because I'm going to assume something slips through the cracks, and she's going to give you a ring just to make that appointment. So that receptionist and that phone call act as a safety net. So when this is done, and when that safety net phone call appears to be instigated by the vet, just absolute magic's going to happen. This system works so remarkably well, it's stunning. So look, you've got the entire system now. The last online training video gave you the sequences and the gaps and the dates. This one is just giving you the exact scripting. So the next one will give you the 12 months ahead pre-booking, which gives you by far and away the latest response rate. But some people aren't comfortable doing that. They find it hard to get their head around. But we'll talk about that when we get there. So finally, there's a couple of things I'd love from you. Can you please leave me some comments and some feedback in the section below? I'd love to hear from you what you think of these online training videos, and also subjects you'd like me to cover. So that's really important, that I cover what you want covered rather than what I hallucinate you want covered. And the last point is, keep your eyes peeled for the next online training video on how to pre-book 12 months and ahead. Thanks for listening. Bye.